Picture yourself standing at the edge of a cliff, looking out over a vast, untamed wilderness. The view is breathtaking, but the path ahead is treacherous. You have two choices: to leap blindly, letting your impulses guide you, or to take a step back, assess the situation, and chart a course that will lead you safely to your destination. This, in essence, is the power of self-control. It's the ability to pause, to think, to choose your actions deliberately rather than being swept along by the current of your immediate desires. Self-control is often misunderstood. Many people see it as a form of deprivation, a constant struggle against our natural inclinations. But in reality, self-control is about freedom. It's about having the power to shape your life according to your deepest values and most important goals, rather than being at the mercy of fleeting impulses or external pressures. I think about it for a moment. How many times have you done something in the heat of the moment that you later regretted? How often have you given in to a temporary pleasure, only to find that it derailed your long-term plans? On the flip side, think about the times when you've resisted an immediate temptation in favor of a greater reward. Remember the sense of accomplishment, the boost to your self-esteem, the pride in knowing you're moving closer to your goals. Self-control is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And just like building physical strength, developing self-control requires consistent effort, patience, and the willingness to push through discomfort. But the rewards are immense. With strong self-control, you become the master of your own destiny. You're able to make choices that align with your values, to pursue your goals with determination, to build the life you truly want rather than settling for whatever comes your way. But let's be clear, self-control isn't about perfection. It's not about never making mistakes or never indulging in pleasures. It's about balance, about making conscious choices rather than being ruled by impulse. It's about having the ability to say no when you need to, but also knowing when it's okay to say yes. One of the most powerful aspects of self-control is its ability to create a positive ripple effect in your life. When you exercise self-control in one area, it often spreads to others. For example, if you develop the discipline to stick to a regular exercise routine, you might find it easier to maintain a healthy diet, to manage your time more effectively, or to resist the urge to procrastinate at work. Self-control is also closely linked to emotional intelligence. It allows you to manage your emotions, to respond rather than react to challenging situations. Think about a time when someone said something that upset you. Without self-control, you might lash out in anger, potentially damaging your relationship or your reputation. But with self-control, you can pause, take a breath, and choose a response that's more constructive and aligned with your values. One of the keys to developing self-control is understanding the power of delayed gratification. This is the ability to resist an immediate reward in favor of a later, often greater reward. It's about being willing to endure short-term discomfort or frustration for long-term gain. This might mean studying instead of watching TV, saving money instead of buying something on impulse, or sticking to a workout routine even when you'd rather relax on the couch. The concept of delayed gratification was famously illustrated in the marshmallow experiment conducted by psychologist Walter Mischel. Children were offered a choice between one marshmallow immediately or two marshmallows if they could wait for 15 minutes. Follow-up studies showed that the children who were able to wait for the larger reward tended to have better life outcomes, including higher SAT scores, lower body mass index, and better social skills. But delayed gratification isn't just about resisting temptation. It's about having a clear vision of what you want in the long term and being willing to work towards it consistently. It's about understanding that the most worthwhile achievements often require time, effort, and patience. Another crucial aspect of self-control is mindfulness. This means being aware of your thoughts, feelings, and impulses without immediately acting on them. It's about creating a space between stimulus and response, giving yourself the opportunity to make a conscious choice rather than reacting automatically. Practicing mindfulness can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths before responding to a stressful situation, or pausing to ask yourself, is this action aligned with my goals, before making a decision. As you develop this habit, you'll find that you're less likely to be swept away by momentary impulses or emotions. Self-control also involves learning to manage your environment. Often, our surroundings can trigger impulses or habits that we're trying to change. For example, if you're trying to eat healthier, keeping junk food in your house makes it much harder to resist temptation. By structuring your environment to support your goals, you make it easier to maintain self-control. This might mean removing distractions if you're trying to focus on work, or surrounding yourself with people who support your goals if you're trying to make a positive change in your life. Remember, self-control isn't about having superhuman willpower. It's about setting yourself up for success by making good choices easier and bad choices harder. One powerful strategy for developing self-control is to build positive habits. Habits are behaviors that have become automatic through repetition. When you turn a desired behavior into a habit, it requires much less willpower to maintain. For example, if you make a habit of going for a run every morning, over time it becomes something you do automatically, without having to wrestle with the decision each day. Building habits takes time and consistency, but the payoff is enormous. Once a positive behavior becomes habitual, it frees up your mental energy for other tasks that require more active self-control. It's like putting your self-control on autopilot for certain areas of your life. Another important aspect of self-control is learning to manage stress. When we're stressed, our ability to exercise self-control diminishes. We're more likely to give in to impulses, to make poor decisions, to lash out emotionally. By developing effective stress management techniques such as regular exercise, meditation, or deep breathing exercises, you can maintain your self-control even in challenging situations. It's also crucial to understand the role of self-compassion in developing self-control. Many people mistakenly believe that being hard on themselves will lead to better self-control. They berate themselves for every lapse, creating a cycle of guilt and shame. But research shows that self-compassion, treating yourself with kindness and understanding, actually leads to better self-control. When you're compassionate with yourself, you're more likely to learn from your mistakes rather than being demoralized by them. You're able to pick yourself up after a setback and recommit to your goals. Remember, developing self-control is a journey. There will be ups and downs, successes and failures. Treating yourself with kindness along the way will help you stay the course. One powerful way to strengthen your self-control is to connect your actions to your values and long-term goals. When you have a clear sense of what's truly important to you, it becomes easier to make choices that align with those values. For example, if you value your health, it's easier to resist unhealthy foods when you remind yourself that you're not just saying no to a cookie. You're saying yes to a healthier, more energetic version of yourself. Take some time to reflect on your core values and long-term goals. What kind of person do you want to be? What do you want to achieve in your life? When you're faced with a decision that requires self-control, connect it back to these larger aspirations. This can provide the motivation you need to make the right choice, even when it's difficult. Another key aspect of self-control is learning to manage your energy. Self-control requires mental energy, and like any resource, this energy can be depleted. That's why it's often harder to resist temptations at the end of a long, stressful day. By managing your energy effectively through proper sleep, nutrition, and stress management, you can maintain higher levels of self-control throughout the day. It's also important to prioritize your self-control efforts. You can't exercise ironclad willpower in every area of your life all the time. Choose the areas where self-control is most crucial for your well-being and success and focus your efforts there. As you build strength in these key areas, you'll likely find that self-control becomes easier in other areas as well. Remember, too, that self-control isn't just about saying no to things. It's also about saying yes to the right things. It's about having the discipline to do what's important, even when you don't feel like it. This might mean pushing yourself to work on a challenging project, to have a difficult conversation, or to step out of your comfort zone in pursuit of a goal. One powerful technique for improving self-control is to practice what psychologists call implementation intentions. This involves planning in advance how you'll handle situations that challenge your self-control. For example, if you're trying to eat healthier, you might decide in advance. If I'm offered dessert at a restaurant, I'll order a cup of tea instead. By deciding on your response in advance, you make it easier to stick to your goals in the moment. It's also crucial to understand the role of motivation and self-control. While discipline is important, it's much easier to maintain self-control when you're genuinely motivated to achieve your goals. Take time to connect with your why. Why are your goals important to you? What will achieving them mean for your life? The more vividly you can imagine the benefits of reaching your goals, the easier it becomes to exercise self-control in service of those goals. Another important aspect of self-control is learning to manage your thoughts. Our thoughts have a powerful influence on our behavior. Negative self-talk, for example, can undermine our efforts at self-control. If you constantly tell yourself, "I have no willpower," or "I always give in to temptation," you're setting yourself up for failure. Instead, practice positive self-talk. Remind yourself of times when you've successfully exercised self-control. Encourage yourself like you would a good friend. It's also helpful to reframe challenges to your self-control as opportunities rather than burdens. Instead of thinking I have to resist this temptation, try thinking I get to make a choice that aligns with my goals. This shift in perspective can make self-control feel empowering rather than restrictive. Subscribe for more videos.